a common thing you'll hear going into Dokkan Battle, whether you've started just now or you're returning, is this character is not hype enough for the anniversary. So for this video, I want to go over the potential picks and who was and was not anniversary over the last 10 years, essentially. This is going to be a bit of a retrospective. I went over the Legends Fest picks a few weeks ago, saying that typically these correlate in Dokkan Battle. Typically, if you see something in Legends, you might see it in Dokkan Battle's anniversary. But to start this off, we're going to go over here just to check out the Dragon Ball Super popularity poll that happened in 2021. The reason we're checking this out is because we see here how sometimes the populace does not reflect the reality, because we see characters like Vegeta topping the list over someone like Goku, over someone like Gohan, even though Gohan was probably the most popular character in the series after Cell Saga for a long time. We see characters like Goku Black still hanging around. We see characters like Future Trunks and Beerus, and the reason this is interesting is because characters like Broly weren't, Piccolo and Broly weren't shown to be options. So this list is a bit funky, but we do see that there is a hard leaning to characters we'd expect, and yet still no Goku Black LR, still no Beerus LR, you know what I mean? Still no Solo 17 LR, still no Frieza, like new Frieza LR. So we're going to go through the last 10 years, check it out, see what happens, and see if we can pin down who is and who is not popular enough for that vaunted anniversary slot. So we've certainly started Dokkan Battle's first anniversary with an obvious choice, right? Gogeta doesn't surprise anyone. This is one of the most popular characters in the entire series, one of the most popular characters in the entire series of Dokkan Battle specifically, a juggernaut whose EZA sent ripples through the world. I believe his big claim to fame was this leader skill, right? Or something to the matter. It was essentially the fact that these two units were irreplaceable, but especially the Gogeta, who was essentially, you either had Super Gogeta or you did not have Super Gogeta, and that was entirely the defining characteristic of your account. The thing that's so interesting about this is that they actually did go with a Janemba. And the reason it's interesting is because in 2016, was it just the case that we were fresh enough still that 2016 was a good time for Janemba, or were they still just going by, well, we're doing a Gogeta, so we might as well do a Janemba? Either way, to imagine a world where we could say 10th anniversary Janemba is so funny now looking back, because I don't think anyone would be like, oh yeah, Janemba's hype enough to carry the 10th anniversary, right? But I mean, I think it would be cool. Janemba, the LR Janemba that we have, who is one of the best units in the game, his animation quality, his audio quality, it's very good, but there could still be more. I mean, I would love a transforming Janemba outside of the TUR tech Janemba. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad seeing this. Let's check out the second anniversary. Now, you want to talk about no-dud choices. The second anniversary, just being the pair of Super Saiyan 4s, is an incredible no-dud choice. And it feels like this celebration was especially, maybe they jumped the gun a bit on this celebration, you know what I mean? Because when we go into GT and we actually look at like who has gotten LRs, we see, of course, the Super Saiyan 4 here, and then Super Saiyan 4 here again, which I believe I can't remember if they're the fourth years or what have you, but what I was basically getting at is that it's so sad to think that, like they do with Gogeta and Vegeta, where they sort of complement each other. If one gets released, another will get released, whether they be fusing or base or what have you. The thing about the Super Saiyan 4s is that Goku got this character, whose animations are all phenomenal, and then they sort of just left Vegeta rather in the dust. You know, he's never really been revisited as a viable character, and I don't know. It's sad because this art looks amazing, but the animation quality is definitely much lower than what we've come to expect of Dokkan, and I think stuff like the final shine attack and, you know, just a lot of what Vegeta is doing. Sorry, I got Gogeta on the brain. A lot of what Vegeta's doing is really cool in this form. I feel like if you were around for when this first launched, seeing Gogeta in the fucking jeans, dude, I don't know. Maybe that's just my like my nostalgia brain, but yeah. Do I think the fours could carry a celebration in 2025? Are they 10th year viable? Because Gogeta is. I don't know if Janemba is. And yes. Yes, I do actually. I think fours, either of the fours into a Gogeta is enough. Fours standalone, I think they do sell pretty well. I think they do. I don't think maybe they're on the same tier, but I do think they get people like in seats. I think the fours are just a design space that people love. To a lot of people, this is their favorite transformation period. You can see this in fan art. You can see this in that one. There's that fan animation that had like Broly in it at the tournament, and it's like really kind of like high. It's kind of like modern violent for shonen standards, and it has like all this, you know, a war is coming, all this shit. But Goku's transformation specifically is very Monkey King, like Wukong based. I think people like when Super Saiyans incorporate some more of this furred aesthetic. But let's go to third years. Hey guys, do you think Vegito and Gogeta are hype enough for anniversary? Do you think they're hype enough? Do you think they could sell the anniversary? Do you think those could work? Do you think you'd be able to play Dokkan Battle in the 10th year if they sync the games with the fusion characters rather? Do you think that's hype enough? Would you buy? I think people would buy. This doesn't need discussing. If Vegito and Gogeta are the anniversary units, it's going to be one of the best selling anniversaries ever. I've said before that I don't think we need another Gogeta, but that doesn't matter. I feel like people don't get that, like, saying we don't need something is different than saying that, like, it will be astronomically terrible. It's just that 4 fusion characters are probably not great for team building when you look at the anniversary units being strong over the course of the entire game. Unless they do a Goku and Vegeta thing, so they're on a bunch of teams. But does it really matter if I think that? If they drop these and they sell well? No, obviously not. People confuse those points. Yeah, they're probably gonna do this. It's gonna go really well. So as we enter year 4, we enter the year that the LRs started popping up as the headlining units for the anniversary, and it started with the LR4s here. And one of the more interesting facets of going back and actually like looking through these celebrations, these big marquee celebrations, like we got the duel here, the yellow coins here, is just kind of going through and remembering like how sparse the content was back in the day. And it really kind of grinds in the fact that if you are someone who's playing in year 10 of Dokkan and you long for the days of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever that case may be, you really do have to admit that you're just kind of nostalgic for when you enjoyed the game more, rather than like objectively the game is or is not better, right? Because as I just like peer through the events, I'm like, God, what a nightmare. That said, Super Saiyan 4 is always going to be a winning combination for Anniversary. We've now seen it twice, which does kind of lead me to believe that... Actually, I guess we've technically seen it... Has it literally been 4 times in the Anniversary? It would have been the 2, 4, 7... And then... Probably is going to be the 10th Anniversary? Something like that. So... kind of interesting how much of a dominant presence the 4s have had over Dokkan for a long, long time. That said, definitely could be redone. I remember these were some of the first characters I saw in Dokkan Battle when I joined 2 years ago. Specifically, just using them as friend leads because they have like the Vegeta's family and Goku's family. And their animations are pretty fun, but definitely not great. I think that they could do the 4s again. I think there's a lot of potential here. The 4s are clearly capable of being headliners. They're clearly capable of being headliners any single time they want to do it. Just a success of a design. And yeah, if you're a 4s fan, I wouldn't count them out. I would treat the 4s kind of like Vegito and Gogeta. You can never really count the 4s out, strangely enough. And so we arrive at the 5th years and the last time that Gogeta and Vegito shared an anniversary slot. And this was the 5th year. And guess what is half of 10? I think with everything in my heart that I am right about the Vegito Blue being in Legends Festival. I do think I'm right. Because I think I'm right, I think we're getting a Vegito Blue this year. It's either, and if we don't see him in part 1, I think we'll see him in part 2. You know what I mean? And what they do with Gogeta after that, I don't know. What they do with Goku Black after that, who is a part of the 5th year, I believe, I don't know. But I will say that this certainly does look like Legends Fest. And Dokkan does have a habit. It's a small habit of coordinating at least one of the units from Legends Fest. Maybe you could just say that Dragon Ball just has obvious hype picks, but whatever the case may be, it's happened a few times in a row. A few times in a row, we've seen Legend Fest correlate. So it could be something. That said, you don't need to hear me talk about this. If they want to do Vegito, Gogeta, or Goku Black, as we said up top, Goku Black is one of the most popular characters in the series. He's essentially a Goku, much like any of the other characters that share a Goku face. He's pretty popular, even characters like Bardock. This is the only character that was definitely not showing back up. I think Super Broly's done for a long time. You know what I mean? Though they could make like 3 more Super Broly LRs. You know what I mean? There are so many animations. He literally fights for like 40 minutes. Man, the 6-year anniversary units are when I would say that Dokkan animation started getting really good. 2021 has some of the better animations in all of Dokkan, I think, from what I've seen. I've looked through, I did that big. If you want to see my reaction to every 2021 character, DFE rather, I literally released something going over every single one, talking about every single one. And I think 2021 is a great time capsule. Even as someone who's not like, Super's not my favorite part of Dragon Ball or anything, these animations look great. We've been seeing them all year. We've been seeing them all year through the veil of the anniversary units here, who Easy 8, right? So I would say that this is a strong contender for returning units. The only thing I'd say is that certainly we're not going to see that here. This is done for a while. 17 is a very popular character, but probably not popular enough to carry an anniversary anymore. You have to remember that this was pretty recent. This is pretty fresh in people's minds. This was MVP 17. This was the peak of like, oh my god, 17, oh my god, 17. It'd be like releasing a Super 17 now, where we're kind of really far away from Super 17. Even though I like that character, I think he looks cool. That said, if they decided to do this moment again, what I think they would need to do is commit to the Kefla. The Kefla has to come. We can't keep running from it. People love the character. I'm kind of like on the character. I don't really, she's a cool looking fusion, but as a character, I'm not like crazy about her. But there are people who love Kefla, and Kefla is obviously like, I mean, again, don't shoot me. She's essentially the waifu of Dragon Ball Super. So, and people buy waifus, you know what I mean? People play gachas to pull their waifus, and I mean, why not just make money? I think Kefla comes here. What I would like to see is an LR animation quality level Goku and Vegeta from the Tournament of Power. Maybe kind of a reiteration on their Fizz LR. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, that's enough of this one. And sort of unfortunately, we arrive at this spot where this is a great character for an LR, they're getting easy aid. This is a great character for an LR, they're getting easy aid. Both of these characters in a vacuum could work perfectly re-released. You could do a singular Vegeta, God Vegeta, who transforms. He has that iconic transformation. I think they literally used a bit of that transformation for something in Dokkan already, and then they obviously have it in Sparking Zero, and it looks fantastic. Vegeta has one of the best looking animations in all of Dragon Ball, essentially, in this movie. It looks phenomenal. Makes Blue look the best it ever has been. That said, this is a very realistic character to come. I said it before. I think one of the best things they could do is not commit totally to just Gogeta base, because we do kind of need categories, and Gogeta himself isn't on the same level of categories as either of them alone. This is not happening, unfortunately, as much as I would love it. I think if you really wanted to send off the 10th year with something iconic for longtime fans of the series, you could consider this like reasonable. But obviously, you know, we're here to talk about what is hype and what isn't considered hype. And while this is a meaningful moment in the series, it captured the turning point in Toriyama's narrative, theming his sort of tone setting, which then went on to be expounded upon with Frieza. You could argue that this confrontation might literally be the single most important moment in shonen history. You know what I mean? But for like, if you're like just like a hype beast, you know what I mean? Obviously this isn't blowing the walls off the Dokkan shelves. It's, you know, we're pretty far away from it. That said, if they wanted to redo something like this, I would say that we probably need these two slots to be filled with okay, hear me out. They do Goku and Vegeta. They don't do Broly. They do a Golden Frieza. And then for the Gogeta, they do an Omega Shenron here. I think that's the play. I don't think we need to see another Broly yet. Though they could. They could just very easily if they wanted to retread this ground. Man, there go those fours again. Imagine, you know, you're playing Dokkan for all 10 years and they just keep fucking going back to this well, right? You would think that there's a statement someone made once upon a time that GT is essentially carried by the games, and that's not untrue. It's not that GT doesn't have great moments, but a lot of the great moments are really highlighted by games, and Dokkan is no exception. That said, I think the bomb units were pretty great. I think the theme of Spirit Bomb is pretty fun. The only issue I'd have with this returning is obviously we're getting Daima here. What they could do if they wanted to retread this ground in the Majin Buu saga is they could go Goku Super Saiyan 2 Daima, Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 Daima. That would actually like sell. That's recent enough. That has great animations waiting. They could do Super Saiyan 2 from Tamagami that does like the elbow, because they didn't use the elbow shot for his Dokkan Fest New Year's unit. So they could do the elbow shot, and then he switches out, exchanges with Vegeta Super Saiyan 3. I know it wouldn't make sense. It would probably be far too much to use all at once, but they could do it. The fours I don't see returning in this way again for a bit. It's just kind of I do see a fours returning, but like I said, I don't see them returning in this way again for a bit. I think this is the weakest part of this celebration. Both their actual kits, but also the portrayal of these characters. Gohan's art here kind of looks like a free-to-play unit. Goku's art here kind of looks like a free-to-play unit, I'm not gonna lie. It's fun, but they're not doing this again. Like, the whole theme of like it being the openings, no. It is cool, though. It is cool, I'll say that. And last but certainly not least, we have the 9th anniversary, which I think was them getting the character choices possibly the most right. We did need a Super Broly. It opened up extreme class units for anniversary again. It felt very big and loud and boisterous, and the animation quality was higher than it's ever been. The card art looked fantastic. The transformations looked fantastic. The only things you could glean from it was that maybe Broly having a domain is a little underwhelming because domain transformations kind of suck. That said, the targeting mechanic, here we go over here, the targeting mechanic on Gogeta and Beast were a perfect choice for capping off an anniversary. I would have loved if Broly was the one to get it. He was literally getting jumped in the movie. There's no reason that Broly should not have had a target mechanic. He is literally the target of everyone in the movie. It does not make sense. That said, Gogeta's fire. Broly was good and remained good. You know, still fine. Beast is still one of the best units in the game. You could argue he's the best unit in the game still, if you wanted to. I don't think so, but certainly he's not going anywhere for a bit. He's a character that, at his worst, we'll start seeing like slot 2 and 3 positioning, but I don't think he's getting erased in the 10th anniversary either. The Gammas are the saddest of the bunch. I think it's a good character choice. I think it's good to do the Gammas now. That said, beyond just being a luxury unit who has like a great animation set, they just kind of fell a little short of the mark. I think it would have actually been better if they did commit to the Cell Max here, which we did get a Cell Max eventually, and it opened our eyes to why Broly's team looked like that. Cell Max should have been the second villain in the anniversary, and we should have saved the Gammas, because the Gammas were ultimately kind of unneeded, and if they were released later, maybe they would have made them a more viable option for superheroes, which was just like, I mean, superheroes, the team is like a labor, dude. You just have too many good characters to fit them in. But yeah, great choice. Ultimately, a phenomenal celebration. I don't think they'll go back here for any reason at all. There's literally nothing to take from either of these movies outside of Gogeta, and if they do take the Gogeta from this unit, it is not coming with a Broly, I think. And so the pattern becomes pretty clear. I think you can tell that they truly don't take any real chances with Anniversary. I think some of the biggest among them was releasing Janemba, was releasing Broly, and maybe you could argue the 4s are a chance, like the standalone 4s, but like I said, some of the most popular forms in the series, and look how bad people wanted like GT for, you know, Legends. I think that whatever the case may be, my biggest takeaway is that the marketing, when you see things like the 6th anniversary, might trump all of our expectations, and we might see something Daima related. I really do think that it's a business. People always say it's a business, they're going to do the safest thing. Well, it's a business, and they also have to do promo. And one thing Dokkan and Legends serve as is promo for the series. Just flat out. You know what I mean? So don't be surprised if we wake up on the 27th or whatever, and it's Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. You know what I mean? But that's going to do it. If you like the video, subscribe to join the club. We all go make it. Peace.